Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, family. Happy holidays to you all. Hope you're enjoying yourself. Hope you're enjoying your family. Um, if they're healthy and if you're healthy, hopefully you are enjoying one another. I am just so damn tripped out because I just sat here and thought I was recording, got finished with the video, and realized that there's no audio. So you already know what that feels like. It feels like, damn, I hope I can do it and bring this information again because it was so important as far as I'm concerned. And it just speaks to some of the things that we talk about in terms of families. Um, it's very important that we understand that certain things, most things in the universe, once you get a certain age, you're going to realize that they transcend color. Now, I can get on here and bang about color all day long. But I believe once we fix the mental illness that's on the planet, then you're going to solve the keys to the color. Frances Cress Welsing has the book, The ISIS Papers, The Keys to the Color. And I love the story that she tells about why she named that book that. And it was because as she was working in a hospital, I believe she said at one time, and working in a mental hospital at night. And then there was a patient who was always, talking or, you know, uh, saying profound things, even though he was so-called loony as a tune. And she said one night when she was in there by herself alone with him, she decided to ask him this particular question. I'm paraphrasing, y'all, so yeah. She said she decided to ask him. She goes, I'm just going to make up a name, Johnny. Why are you always acting, the way you act, and what's going on with you? And, what makes you, act the way you do? He said, doctor, tell you, doctor, if I could just figure out the keys to the color, if I could just figure out the keys to the color. Now, for those of y'all who get it, you get it. For those of y'all that don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. But I believe I have deciphered the keys to the color. It's mental illness. It's the white pathology that we consider supremacy, which is really narcissism, psychopaths, and 96% of the people on the planet have it, and 4%, I believe, is in recovery from it. I know those numbers are off the chart, you guys, and I certainly can't prove it, but the result of the madness that you see that's going on the planet right now is people who are insecure, and they are so insecure and afraid of the people they have mistreated that they are just off the chain. They've deemed a certain group the scapegoat children. And these children and all the players of this house is like a dysfunctional mobile. The descendant of the slave is the scapegoat. And so when the rest of the society has a cold, this particular group has pneumonia because all of the dysfunction is dumped on this individual. And in our case, it's even more devastating because we've provided the wealth for these people to mistreat us, so they're mistreating us with our own stuff. That's what makes it even more insidious. They've stolen everything from us, and they have us out here fighting for resources that they won't give us, when in all actuality, kind of belongs to my grandparents that they should have passed down to me, and there's no way in the world you should have it. So that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day, with the psychology that goes on behind that and the pathology of the mindset that would think that they can take somebody's wealth and then set up laws in the society about robbery. and larceny and put people in jail for all these crimes. It's incredible that you're in a country that can do that, but at the same time are thieves. And that not just the African, they've stolen land and everything else. So we won't want to get there, but what we do want to talk about is the basis of the family. Because this stuff transcends color. And that's why I tried to get so stuck on color, because being a sane and rational person, I know good and damn well if we can realize how crazy our families are and how they passed on their dysfunction. Not that I want to blame the families before us. They were subjected to a lot of abuse, dysfunction. So your cell memory is full of negativity. It's full of abuse, neglect, hurt that's been passed on generation after generation after generation. Okay, this is how we got here. Now, with that being said, I just wanted to kind of put this story in a nutshell. And there's a story I read by Kendrick Lamar's sister. Everybody know the Grammy Award winning lyricist and musician, Kendrick Lamar. Probably one of the hottest little young guys, I think, out on the scene today. I appreciate and respect his work. Okay? One of the very few people that I do. So, I just want to share this story that his sister wrote. And this could be any dysfunctional family USA, and it just kind of gives you a glimpse of what lives are like that are enmeshed in dysfunction. Kendrick Lamar is one of the most popular hip-hop stars out of Los Angeles, but he wasn't always rich and famous, and his family is from Compton. Listen to his little story, tell a story about getting pregnant at 13. Okay? All right. With that being said, she got pregnant when they lived in Compton. She was only 13 years old. She met the father of her child from a friend on Facebook, and they used to call each other brother and sister. Now, I want you to look at the dynamic and follow it, because see how the dysfunction is passed on to the daughter. At the time, the baby daddy lived with his girlfriend because his mother was in jail. Her mom and her gave him money, and he'd hang out with her at her house. Now, that's the number one red flag. See, any little boy with this kind of background shouldn't even been in your house in the first place. What is wrong with this mother that she would even allow her 13-year-old to entertain a young man and give him money? Somebody said, they do it all the time. Girl, what's wrong with you? And that's it. Let's start right there. Our children are having sex way too young. They're being indoctrinated. And you can't stuff the Pandora back into the box once it's out. So the dysfunction and the madness is already at an apex. Right? All right. Him and his living girlfriend broke up, but he didn't move out. So then she started dating him. She thinks she was young, but not dumb. She wasn't even thinking about sex until she met him. February 13th, they started dating. He was pressuring her into sex. She feels stupid. She was 13, he was 15. She lost her virginity in May, got pregnant in July. He used to tell me dumb shit like, I want you to have my baby. You know, dumb little boy stuff. How about dumb little girl stuff involved in this? Both of them brains are still growing. He's 15, she's 13. The mother has allowed this to happen. So what's happened in the mother's life that she would think that this type of behavior is okay? How was she indoctrinated? Who allowed somebody to have sex with her that young? Did her mother show her that lack of concern for her life that she think is okay for? So I'm saying, why would you pass that madness on to your little girl to allow her to live a 13-year-old boy, 15-year-old boy to come into your house and start having sex with your daughter? Okay. His mom got out of jail and he moved out the ex house. He moved back with the mother. She missed her period and then they got a test. They took the test at McDonald's. He got verbally abusive while she was pregnant, went through her phone and saw she text her ex, and he went off on her. She got afraid and tried to leave. He chased her and pushed her and started calling her names. His friends tried to take up for her, and then he fought them. Her mom thought she was fine. She didn't even think she was having sex or that the dude was abusive. Really? What kind of mom would be that silly? Or she didn't. Maybe a better word would be, my mama didn't care that I was having sex, because she was probably having sex at that age too. And she's probably wrapped up in her own feelings and her own personal problems that you're just too much for her to be bothered with. You and this problem with this boy. She didn't have the sex talk with me and I never had a health class. She tried to hide being pregnant, but mom found out when she was 5 months. I have a daughter. I mean, I'm responsible for her at that age, and I don't understand how your daughter could be 5 months pregnant and you not know. Did you have to buy pads for her? Did you have to buy supplies for her? Excuse my French, let me get a little graphic. Did you have to buy tampons? What the hell goes on? Are you not supplying her needs? So you're neglecting her as well. This is why she's set up already. Mom surprised her with a pregnancy test. She tried to avoid it, and mom then took me to the doctor, and the doctor told her I was 5 months pregnant. Mom was shocked. How? She said she was forced to keep it at 5 months. My mom cried. She didn't know what to do. She told my dad, and he was nonchalant about it. Her and my dad aren't close, but they produced a child. See how she's set up? And so for all you men out there that think it's not important, and at one time I might have even shared some of these just detrimental thoughts, it's impossible. It's impossible to continue to have this kind of mindset when you see the result of it. You see the result. That father should have been just as important. He should have validated her. He should have been, my daughter's pregnant. Oh my, whatever. Let me comfort her. I wasn't there. I wasn't the father I should have been. Whatever the situation is. Kendrick was the one who broke down crying. She decided to keep the baby. She was forced to keep it at 5 months. That's what she said. Mom started crying. Her and Kendrick were crying. She decided to keep it and continue with her education. She's currently in the 12th grade and she graduates in June. She was in 8th grade and pregnant and still trying to go to school. Kendrick told the family they had to move. After he moved them, he's daddy, I guess, because he moved them. Now look at the dysfunction. He's responsible for his mama and his sister. How many young men think that they're responsible for their mother? And because of all the bad choices that she's made with her life. This is the cycle. It just goes on and on and on and on. All right. Her birthday is December 30th. She had to go back and forth to Compton on the bus to see the baby's daddy. Why? Why? Because he wouldn't come and see the baby. So she went and took the baby on the bus. She tried to go to middle school in a new neighborhood, but they wouldn't let her go there because they said she would be a distraction. Her mom could have sued the school, but she didn't. So she skipped a grade technically, but she's still behind the grade. When she was 9 months, they were arguing, her and the baby's father, because he was trying to fight her. She says it was a tussle, but fuck that. He tussled with her because she wanted to go home for the night. She started bleeding. He started crying. See, they're so emotionally retarded already, and they're about to be parents. And they're emotionally underdeveloped, emotionally retarded. Just like how black people are politically retarded. Jeez. Okay, I'm sorry. I've regressed. I've digressed, as they say. Um, she gave birth at 36 weeks, April 14th. Her mom was the only one with her, and her mom cut the cord. The dad came like 10 minutes after the baby was born, even though I don't know how he got lost from the time she started bleeding in his house to get to the hospital to have the baby. He got lost on the way because he came after the baby was born, and then her family came to see the baby later. And they started arguing in the hospital, of course, and they got into another fight. And this time he put hands on her right when she was in the hospital. She found out that, guess what? He was still texting his ex. She hid everything for a year, at least all that background stuff. And the saddest line of it all is she says she doesn't blame her mom because her mom was normal and did what normal moms do. She blames herself. And that's what most children do who have been abused by their parents. They must be bad because their parents told them they was bad. They must be stupid because their parents told them they was stupid. It's nothing that they did. It's not that they're projecting their hurt and what they feel about themselves onto you. You're bad. Well, baby, I want you to love your mother, and I'm not blaming your mother in any shape, form, or fashion. But I just want you to know that your mother, what your mama did wasn't normal. And what her mother did to her probably wasn't normal. And what her mother did to her wasn't normal. And what, you see what I mean? So there's a whole history, a group of people here that need therapy. Because these people go out into society and they hurt other people. And if she doesn't get the help, and if she doesn't discuss sex with her child, I don't even know about the sex of the other child, it doesn't really matter, then that child is going to be a teenage parent, and then that child is going to produce the same madness that you produced and was produced by your family. And that you had to be pretty much a hostage of. It's sad. But our families of origin set us up for the madness. You know, there's a difference between shame and guilt. Guilt says, I feel bad about something I did. You know. Shame says there's something wrong with me. And when you feel there's something wrong with you, it's way bigger. And usually people like that suffer from depression, and depression is nothing but anger turned inward. And she's going to experience a lot of that growing up, being a mother at 13 with no support. And the only support you got now is probably by a mother that experienced the same thing that you did. And I know this story is any trailer park, any ghetto, any suburban store, USA. The only thing is some people got enough money to cover it up, the dysfunction. But that's all it is. And anytime a 13-year-old girl is pregnant in the house with the mother, and you don't know, then I'm just gonna say, as a mother, then you've skipped some of your duty system. And I wish this young lady well. I don't want to stay on it no longer, and I want y'all to hear. I want to hear what y'all think about this. I know it's a pretty long video, so I'm gonna get off of here, and tell me what y'all think about this dysfunction, about how this girl was set up, in my opinion, to be a mother. Just the little stuff I'm hearing. The mother letting the guy come and stay in the house. Well, I couldn't even think about letting some guy come and visit my daughter and stay in the house with me. She only 13 years old. She is going to school. She don't got time for boys. One thing's going to be there forever. Books, boys, and whatever. What's the other B? Books, boys, and something. They all threes. They never go nowhere. All right? So, what's the hurry to subject your child to this type of stuff? And now your grandchild. All right. I'm going to go. If you like what you hear, please subscribe. Happy holidays to you all. Those of y'all who are home alone, I want you to know that you celebrated with me. Those of you who don't celebrate and just out there, be blessed, stay safe, and I'll see you next time in the mental house, okay? All right, bye-bye.